Clark Kent stands alone in the fortress of solitude, listening to 1,000 distant cries that even he cannot reach. He studies a Kryptonian gate device, half built from Phantom Zone tech and Justice League scans of the multiverse. Somewhere beyond his universe, a world is drowning under corrupt heroes and scared people begging for help. He routes his own solar-charged cells into the gate, knowing it will burn some of his strength and maybe twist the way back. The portal tears open in a white-red flash, drags him through, and drops him toward another Earth that already feels wrong. The sky above New York is bright but harsh, the kind of blue that looks fake on TV screens. Sirens wail from every street around Vault Tower as a crowd surges and shouts near the front plaza. Protesters wave signs with words like "No more lies," "Soups kill," and "Homelander murderer." On the steps stand lines of cops, Vault security, and cameras. A slim blonde woman in a white and gold suit, Starlight, faces the crowd with a mic in her hand and guilt in her eyes. High above, Homelander hovers with his cape flowing and his smile fixed for the cameras as helicopters circle him. He's about to drop for another stage speech when the air above him warps. A white-red hole opens in the sky. A man in blue and red rockets out of it, spinning from the force, cape whipping around him. Superman stops himself in an instant, body trembling as the portal snaps shut behind his heels. He feels it. Less warmth from this sun, a strange drag on his muscles, like someone turned gravity up a notch only for him. But thousands of eyes are already turned up at him, phones recording. "What the hell?" Homelander whispers, his smile twitching. The crowd gasps. Someone screams, "New soup." Another yells, "Is that a Vault thing?" Below, a blast shakes the street. A car explodes at the edge of the protest line, flipping into the air. Cops are thrown down. Glass shatters across the plaza. Superman's eyes lock on people trapped under falling metal and stone. He moves. In one blur, he dives between the crashing car and the crowd, shoulders hitting steel, hands pushing. The car slams into him, bends and stops. He slides back a few feet on the cracked plaza, boots tearing the pavement, but the people behind him live. "Everybody get back," he calls, voice steady. "Move away from the street." Homelander drops beside him with a grin that shows too many teeth. "Hey there, big guy," he says. "Appreciate the help, but I've got this city." Superman sets the crushed car down gently. Flames lick the hood. He blows a steady breath. Fire goes out in a clean wave. He looks Homelander in the eye. "People were in danger. I'm here to help." Cameras love the shot. The two capes side by side, flags behind them. Vault Tower rising over their shoulders. Starlight stares, stunned. Queen Maeve, in armor and cloak, watches from the doorway with a tired, sharp gaze. From a van a few streets away, a man with a thick accent and a coat too big for this weather watches the screens inside. Billy Butcher squints at the feed showing Superman saving the protesters. "Another cape," Butcher mutters. "Ing brilliant." He glances at Huey, Frenchie and Kimiko. As if one blonde wanker in a flag wasn't enough, now we've got Captain Boy Scout from space. On the steps, police try to push the crowd back. Some people chant, "New hero, new hero." Others shout, "All soups are Vought puppets." Homelander floats a few inches off the ground, so Superman has to look up at him. "You just crash a portal into my sky?" he asks, still smiling for the cameras. "You from Vault Labs, buddy? New teammate? You look foreign." Superman hears every racing heart around them, every terrified breath. He also hears the tiny click of safety switches on rifles behind the line. "My name is Superman," he says. I'm not with Vought. I'm here because people needed help. Homelander's smile drops a fraction. Yeah, he says. They already have help. For a moment, power hums in the air between them, invisible and heavy. Then another explosion hits from the side street. A small-time soup in cheap armor, juiced up on stolen Compound V, is firing wild energy blasts at cops and protesters. He shouts about fake heroes and corrupt corporations. Homelander glances at the cameras. That is a mess he does not want burned into his image. You take left, I'll take right, he says quickly, then shoots up into the air, leaving Superman in a gust of wind. Superman moves again. He flashes to the side street, lands in front of the raging soup, and holds up his hand. Stop. You're going to hurt people who have nothing to do with this. The man fires a blue beam. It slams into Superman's chest. He grunts as it pushes him back a step, heat dancing across his skin. But it does not cut him. He closes the distance in a blink and gently, carefully, chops the man on the neck just hard enough to knock him out. Homelander arrives a second later. Oh, he says, looking down at the unconscious man. You're very quick. Superman hears the slight shake in his voice. Cops rush in to grab the attacker. Protesters cheer and curse at the same time. Some chant Superman's name now. Others demand to know if he is another Vought lie. High in a private office of Vought Tower, CEO Ashley Barrett watches 10 screens at once. On one, Superman holds up the car. On another, his face fills the frame, calm and kind. On a third, Homelander stares at him with that tight jaw she knows too well. We need a file on this guy yesterday, Ashley says. I want origin pitches, merch mock-ups, and legal risk on my desk in an hour. Get R&D on his powers. If he's not ours, he's a lawsuit. In a dark room elsewhere in the city, Grace Mallory watches the same footage on an old TV. The lines on her face deepen. Another god in a cape, she mutters. This world keeps getting worse. Beside her, Butcher snorts. Superman, huh? Name's a bit on the nose. He's not like the others, Huey says softly, staring at the way Superman gently helps a wounded cop to a stretcher. He actually looks like he cares. Yeah. Butcher takes a drink. They all do at first, son. On the plaza, Homelander floats up again, turning toward the crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, he says, voice booming. This is Superman. He's a friend. The word friend tastes sour to him. He feels Superman's presence like a heavy light pressing on his skin. Superman forces a polite smile. He does not miss the way Homelander keeps himself half a step in front of him, blocking some camera angles. I'm here to help anyone who needs it, he says, no matter who they are. The crowd roars. For a few minutes, it almost looks like a team-up. Then Superman's knees buckle for a second. He hides it well, but not from himself. The sunlight from this world is weaker, different. It feeds him, but slower, like a thin meal after a lifetime of feasts. Codex note. Superman's cells store yellow sun energy, but this world's sun and atmosphere feed that storage less efficiently, cutting into his long-term power and recovery. Up to now, Superman has crashed into this new Earth, saved a protest from a deadly blast, and met Vaught's golden boy in front of the whole world. That same night, the world reacts. News anchors replay the footage on every channel. One network runs a segment titled New Hope or New Threat. Another runs Vought unveils surprising new hero. Commentators argue about whether Superman is a secret Vought project, a government weapon, or an alien invasion. In a dim bar, people drink under TV screens as Superman stops the car in slow motion. Someone mutters, Damn, he makes Homelander look small. The bartender turns the volume up. In the Seven's meeting room, Vought staff buzz in and out with folders and tablets. Ashley stands at the head of the table, sweat under her perfect hair. Homelander lounges in his chair, cape tossed over one arm, eyes cold. Queen Maeve sits across from him, bottle of whiskey in front of her. Starlight sits near the end, hands folded tight. So, Ashley says, forcing a smile, Superman. Amazing brand power. Man of Steel tests through the roof. We can do toys, streaming specials, crossovers with your movies. Homelander. Imagine the synergy. Homelander stares at the table. We didn't make him, he says. He just dropped in. Ashley laughs a little too loud. Public doesn't need to know that. We say he's a friend, maybe a guest member. We control the story. We control him. Maeve looks up slowly. And if he doesn't want to be controlled? Ashley's smile flickers. Everyone wants something. Fame, money, a cause. We find his angle. Homelander's eye twitches. He's not part of the Seven, he says. This team is special. He can be a guest star. Starlight watches the screen on the wall where Superman is shown lifting debris away from trapped protesters. Face calm, eyes kind. Her stomach tightens. He looked like he actually cared, she says under her breath. Maeve hears. Care gets you killed in this world, Annie, she says. Or drunk. She takes a swig. Across the city, Superman stands on a rooftop, looking at the skyline. The lights feel harsher than Metropolis. The ads are louder. Huge screens show Sup faces as if they are gods, with Vought International stamped under them. He listens. He hears police chatter, a woman crying over a lost child, a man in an alley shaking with fear as a Sup threatens him for filming. He also hears the faint, distant hum of the gate device in his head, like an ache. He cannot feel the portal anymore. The jump burned the link. I can't let this place break, he says softly. I won't. His ethic is simple. Do the right thing, no matter the cost. But this world already feels like it plays a different game with that word, right. A voice crackles behind him. Nice view for a god. He turns. Queen Maeve steps out of the shadows, cloak flapping in the wind. Her eyes are sharp under smudged eye makeup. You're Maeve, he says. I saw you on the screens. Yeah, she says. You're the new guy, Superman. Vought already has Man of Steel on 13 pitch decks. I'm not with Vought, he repeats. She shrugs. Doesn't matter what you are. Matters what they say you are. She leans on the rail. You seem like you actually give a damn. That's rare. People are afraid, he says. There's rot here, but also hope. I can help. Maeve laughs, but it's bitter. You don't know this world. Our heroes are bought and sold. Our villains write contracts. Vought owns the news, the cops, half the Senate. We are product. Then someone has to stand outside all that, he says. Someone has to say no. She looks at him for a long moment. You really believe that, don't you? Yes. She finishes the bottle and tosses it into the night, letting it fall and shatter far below. Okay, Boy Scout, she says. You want to help? There's someone you need to meet. But don't say I didn't warn you. Grace Mallory's safe house smells like coffee and old secrets. Superman ducks to enter. The doorway was not built for someone his size in that suit. Inside, Butcher, Huey, Frenchie, and Kimiko sit at a table cluttered with files, laptops, and weapons. Butcher looks up, grin sharp. Well, me, he says. Maeve, you brought a mascot. Billy Butcher, Maeve says. He hates Soups more than anyone alive. If he doesn't try to kill you in the next 5 minutes, consider that a win. Superman does not flinch at the weapons. I'm here to learn what's really going on, he says. Vought isn't just a company. I can feel their reach. Mallory studies him from the corner, cigarette in hand. You came from somewhere else, she says. Not just another city. He nods. Another universe. The device that brought me here is damaged, but while I'm here I will not watch people suffer under fake heroes. Butcher snorts. Oh, he's perfect, he says. Straight out of a comic book. Listen, mate. Every soup thinks they're here to help. Then they get a taste of power, and the rest of us end up scraping brains off the sidewalk. Kimiko watches Superman with narrow eyes. She writes on a notepad, slides it to Frenchie. He reads. He feels different, not like the others. Huey leans forward. We can use that, he says. If he really is that strong, maybe we can finally hit Vought where it hurts without getting wiped out. Mallory taps ash into a tray. We've been building a case, she says. Files on Compound V, on how Vought makes these heroes in labs and sells them as gods. We have enough to hurt them, but not to kill them. They always spin it. What's the plan? Superman asks. Mallory slides a folder to him. Inside are photos. Children in hospital beds with IV bags of blue liquid. A warehouse. Armed guards with Vought patches. Black site, she says. They're testing new versions of Compound V. Stronger, meaner. Kids are dying. You want to help? We shut it down. We get evidence. We show the world what Vought really is. Not just show, Butcher says. We make them bleed. Hard. Superman's jaw tightens. We go in. We get the children out. We expose everything. But we do it without killing people who don't have a choice. Butcher rolls his eyes. Here we go. Our fight is with the ones who know what they're doing, Superman says. The ones who choose this. Butcher stands, gets in his face, not afraid of the difference in size. Our fight is with soups, he says, because when they sneeze, people die. That's the choice. The air between them thickens. Superman could break this man with one finger. Instead, he holds Butcher's gaze. Then watch me prove you wrong. Mallory cuts in. Enough, she says. We don't have time for a pissing contest. Operation's simple. We hit the lab at night. We jam their comms. Superman takes down heavy units and cameras. We pull the kids. Frenchie grabs samples and drives. Huey keeps us linked to the outside. Maeve runs interference with Vought if they catch a whiff. We're ghosts. And Homelander? Huey asks. Homelander doesn't move without a camera, Mallory says. This is off the books. He won't be there. Superman thinks of Homelander's eyes on the plaza. He's not sure that is true, but the children in the photos will not wait. We go, he says. Outside, the night thickens, over the city as they prepare. Superman lifts a van so Frenchie can pack explosives underneath that will knock out power without killing anyone. Maeve sits with a burner phone, ready to fake a crisis elsewhere to pull Vought assets away. Butcher loads weapons and Compound V suppressant. Huey sets up a remote link to a news leak pipeline. On a rooftop before they leave, Starlight joins Superman. I heard, she says, you're hitting a Vought lab. You don't have to be involved, he says. It's dangerous. That's why I have to be involved, she says. I've lived inside their lies for years. She looks up at him. You're really not with them. No, he says. In my world, I work with people I trust. Here, I don't know who that is yet. She smiles weakly. Welcome to the boys, I guess. The lab sits in an industrial zone out of town, hidden behind fake company signs and heavy fences. The night is quiet except for crickets and the distant hum of power lines. Cameras turn slowly on tall poles. The van rolls up, lights off. Frenchie and Butcher move first, planting charges on the power relay. Superman hovers high above, eyes glowing faint red as he scans inside. He sees rooms with hospital beds, small figures hooked up to machines, blue glow in their veins. Rage tightens his chest. "On my mark," Mallory says over the comms. 3, 2, 1. The charges blow. The lights die. Cameras go dark. Superman drops like a bullet, lands hard enough to crack the parking lot, and rips open the main doors with one pull. Guards inside grab weapons, but he is faster. He bends gun barrels, shoves men into walls with just enough force to knock them out, not break them. Butcher and Kimiko slip past him, moving for the control room. Huey runs in behind with a backpack for files. Starlight glows as she enters, providing soft light. Kids wake up and scream. "It's okay," Superman says, voice gentle. "You're safe now. We're getting you out." He rips off restraints, lifts 2 kids at a time, and carries them out into the night, where Frenchie has lined up vans. Kimiko takes down a soup guard who tries to blast them, breaking his arm with silent fury. Butcher finds a doctor about to pull a gun on a child and puts him down with a single punch to the throat. In under 10 minutes, they clear the main room. Huey finds shelves of files and hard drives, stuffs them into his bag. "Mallory, we got them," he says breathless. "We got proof. Real proof." Alarms start to wail on a backup system. Red lights flash. "Time's up," Mallory says. "Vought will be on you in minutes. Out now." Superman is carrying the last pair of kids when he feels it. A sharp spike of weakness, like a knife in his back. He stumbles. One of the children gasps. "I'm okay," he says, though his voice is tight. "Just tired." He pushes through, makes it to the vans. Starlight helps load kids. Frenchie peels out, tires screeching. They vanish into the night before Vaught's response team arrives. The next day, the world explodes again. Anonymous leaks hit the internet. Videos from inside the lab, kids attached to compound V drips, doctors talking about market segments and upgrade potential. A grainy clip shows Superman tearing open the doors, kids clinging to his cape. Some people call him a hero. Others call him a terrorist. Vought holds a press conference. Ashley stands at the podium, tight smile in place. "We are deeply saddened by the tragic attack on our research facility," she says. Superman is not affiliated with Vought. The facility in question was conducting legal, humane research under government oversight. This attack has cost lives and may delay life-saving treatments. We will fully cooperate with authorities to bring the attackers to justice. Homelander stands behind her, arms crossed, eyes like ice. "He broke the law," says a senator on another channel. "You cannot have godlike individuals deciding which labs live or die. That's not justice. That's chaos." "He saved children," says a crying mother holding her rescued daughter on yet another show. "Vought left my baby to die. He didn't." Inside Vought Tower, scientists pore over footage and samples recovered from the lab. One holds up a twisted piece of metal from the door, scorched where Superman touched it at high speed. Another has a tiny flake of something from his cape. "Our scans show his energy signature is tied to a certain yellow spectrum," one scientist says. "But this world's sun gives off a slightly different range. He's powerful, but he's already burning stored reserves." "So?" Ashley asks. "So we can build lights that flood him with the wrong spectrum," the scientist says. "Drain him, maybe even hurt him. Combine that with compound V-Tech, We might design weapons that bend the local light around him, starve his cells. Ashley nods slowly. And we can't make him. Not yet, the scientist says. His biology is beyond ours, but we can clip his wings. Homelander listens from a corner, jaw tight. Do it, he says. If he's going to play vigilante, we need a leash. Power scaling interlude. Vought internal memo, classified. Subject, extraterrestrial asset Superman. Our analysis shows his power comes from stored yellow solar radiation in his cells. This universe's solar output is close enough to keep him formidable, but not enough to restore him quickly after heavy use. High-intensity red light arrays tuned to mismatch his favored spectrum can force rapid energy drain and muscle fatigue. Combined with compound V-enhanced hardware, we project a 40 to 60% reduction in his effective strength and flight time during prolonged exposure. Countermeasure budget estimates high, but the PR value of controlling or neutralizing him outweighs the cost. Up to now, Superman has rescued children, exposed a Vought horror, and tasted both victory and weakness. Now the world starts to shape itself around him. In Mallory's safe house, the atmosphere is tense but hopeful. The rescued kids sleep in nearby rooms under guard. Huey scrolls through endless news clips, eyes wide. The leaks are everywhere, he says. People are pissed. Vaught's stock is dropping. For the first time, they're actually on the back foot. Butcher pours a drink. Enjoy it while it lasts, lad, he says. They'll spin it. They always do. Superman stands by the window, looking out at the night. He feels the dull ache in his muscles, the slow trickle of energy from the strange sun. We heard them, he says, but we also gave them a reason to fear me, to build things to stop me. Good, Butcher says. Fear's honest. My fear is different, Superman says. Power with no limits is dangerous, but so is fear with no hope. I won't be Vaught's monster. I won't be your weapon either. Butcher smirks. We'll see, mate. Starlight sits on the couch, watching a live debate. One guest calls Superman a true hero. Another says he's a symbol of dangerous unilateral action. She feels torn between pride and dread. Maeve drinks in silence. She knows how fast the world's love can turn into hate. In a government building across town, Grace Mallory briefs a small room of officials. Superman is not part of Vought, she says. He's from somewhere else, and right now he's on our side. But Vought is already working on ways to control or kill him. They will not let a wild card like that roam free. What do you suggest? A senator asks. Put him on record, Mallory says. Hearings, agreements. Give him a chance to stand for something better than Vaught's PR machine. If we don't, Vought will paint him as a rogue and use him as an excuse to tighten their grip. The senator frowns. Or we could arrest him. Mallory stares. With what? Back at Vought, Ashley films a meeting with Homelander for internal spin. We should do a joint appearance with Superman, she says. You two together, saving some kittens, whatever. We show unity. We calm people down. Homelander smiles for the camera. In his mind, he imagines tearing Superman apart with his bare hands. Sure, Ashley, he says. Set it up. Let's show the world we're one big happy family. In his private chamber later, he watches the footage of Superman at the lab, moving with calm control, saving kids, never once looking at a camera. No posing, no smirk, just work. Homelander's knuckles go white. You think you're better than me, he whispers to the screen. You think they'll love you more. He blasts his heat vision across the room, slicing a table in half. On a rooftop that same night, Superman stands alone again, listening to the city. The cries for help are endless. The lies are thick. The yellow sun here gives him strength, but it is not the warmth of home. He thinks of the broken gate, of the burning inside his cells when he crossed. He knows that going back, if it is even possible, will cost him even more, maybe everything. For now, he stays. The world of the boys has seen his power, felt his impact, and started building ways to use or break him. And somewhere behind all the noise, Homelander's jealousy sharpens into something much more dangerous. Up to now, Superman has saved a crowd, hit a hidden lab, and turned Vault's lies into open wounds on live TV. Now the world decides what to do with him. Days pass, but the tension never drops. News anchors talk about the Superman question every hour. Some call him the first real hero. Others run old footage of cities ruined by supes and ask, what happens if he flips? Clips loop of him lifting children out of the lab, standing beside Homelander, refusing to smile for Vaught's cameras. In the streets, people march. One group holds signs that say, Superman saved our kids, and no more Vought. Another group holds flags with Homelander's face and chants, our hero first. Outside Vought Tower, a huge screen runs a special, Homelander and Superman, United Front. It shows edited footage of them at the protest, cut to look like they arrived together, worked together and smiled side by side. On a rooftop nearby, Starlight stands with Superman, watching the screen. They're rewriting what happened, Superman says quietly. They always do, she answers. They'll make you whatever they need, a friend, a villain, a tragedy. It's all just content to them. He listens to the city, to the hearts beating fast below. Then we give them something they can't cut around, he says. The truth in a room they can't control. Congress is already talking about hearings, Starlight says. On Vought, on you, on Supe oversight. They want you to testify, under oath, on TV. Superman nods. Then I'll go. She looks worried. Homelander will be there. Then people will finally see us without Vaught's edits, he says. The hearing happens in a big marble building in DC. Cameras line every wall. Senators sit at a long raised table. The room is full. In the front rows sit Vought lawyers in sharp suits, Vought lobbyists, and Vought-approved supes. Homelander sits in his uniform, cape draped just right, smile fixed. Queen Maeve sits 2 seats down, face blank. Starlight is near the edge, hands folded. At a separate table sits Superman, alone. No logo, no lawyer. Just a blue suit and red cape, cleaner than most of the room deserves. Up to now, he has been a rumor from another universe. Now the system stares him in the face. Mr. Superman, the head senator says, shuffling papers. You entered a private research facility without a warrant. You used your powers against American citizens. Do you think you are above the law? Superman looks up at the committee. No, he says. I think everyone should be under a law that is just. The children in that lab were hurt by laws written to protect a company, not people. A murmur goes through the room. And who decides what is just? Another senator presses. You. I decide what I do, Superman says. You decide what you do. But none of us gets to pretend we don't know what we're doing when kids are being used as experiments. On the Vought side, Ashley forces a small smile for the cameras. Behind her, a Vought scientist checks a tablet, watching a hidden feed. Superman's vital signs from tiny sensors they picked up from that scrap of cape. Homelander stares at Superman, eyes narrow. The hearing drags on. They ask Superman where he came from. He answers in simple words. Another Earth, another sun, a broken gate. He talks about his parents on a farm, about the Daily Planet. about his rule never to kill if there is any other way. He talks about saving lives in his world and in this one. Some senators nod. Others look annoyed. They question Vought next. Ashley tells a song of responsible corporate stewardship, necessary research, and bad actors who will be fired. She calls Superman a concerning unknown variable. She calls Homelander a trusted hero with years of service. Homelander flashes his trademark smile. "Look," he says, voice warm. "We're all on the same side here. We want safety, stability. You can't have some outsider with God-level powers picking targets like he knows better than America." Superman listens. He feels the currents of fear and pride in the room. He can hear cameras whirring, hearts racing, whispers behind raised folders. During a recess, he steps out into a side hall. Maeve follows him. "You did okay in there," she says, "for someone who still believes in this circus." "They're scared," he says, "of me, of losing control, of admitting they let Vought grow like this in the first place." She leans against the wall. "Welcome to power politics. They'd rather burn you than admit they were wrong." A door slams. Homelander walks in, alone, cape swinging. The hall suddenly feels smaller. "Well," Homelander says, clapping slowly, "that was cute. You up there playing friendly alien, telling them how it should be." Superman turns. "I told them what I saw, what they already know." "You embarrassed Vought," Homelander says, stepping closer. "You hurt our brand. You hurt my brand." His smile fades. "You made me look small." Superman holds his gaze. "I didn't come here to make you look any way. I came here because people are suffering." Homelander's eyes glow faintly red. "You don't get it," he says. "This is my world, my show. They love me. They fear me. They accept what I do because I keep the whole thing running. And you're, what? Some farm boy who thinks you can fix everything by being nice." "I know I can't fix everything," Superman says, "but I can stop some things. I can show people they don't have to accept monsters in capes." Homelander's smile snaps back, but it is thin and sharp. "Careful, pal," he says. "Monsters bite." He walks away, cape brushing Superman's arm. Superman stands very still. His hands are steady. His heart is not. He has seen gods and monsters. Homelander is not the strongest thing he has ever faced. But there is something worse here. A world where someone like this is loved. The threat grows in more than one place. On the streets, clashes break out between supporters of Vought and people demanding Supe accountability. Some wear Superman's colors on homemade shirts. Others wave Homelander flags. A protest in Chicago turns violent when a minor Supe throws a car at a storefront. Superman arrives in time to catch it, but not before people are hurt. On the air, pundits yell. One channel runs Superman, Savior or Soviet. Another plays a montage of his fights with dramatic music, asking if he is too powerful to be free. Online, people share videos of him saving kids and stopping accidents. They also share clips of him bending steel and shrugging off bullets, with captions like, "How do we stop this if it goes wrong?" Vought pushes its counter-story. New ads show Homelander visiting schools, shaking hands, kissing babies, with a line at the end. "He's been here for you all along." In the background of some shots, red-tinted lights glow faintly. In a secret Vought lab, engineers work overtime. They test red light arrays on lesser Supe subjects. The lights make them scream as their powers flicker and fail. Some collapse. Some do not get up again. "Turn it up," the lead scientist says. "We need to know how far this goes." They do not care about the bodies. They care about the graphs. Codex note. Vort's red light technology uses tuned radiation to push Kryptonian cells into a high-drain state, forcing them to burn stored energy without refilling, like making a battery discharge on fast forward. The split in the world reaches Superman too. In Mallory's safe house, Butcher slams a newspaper down in front of him. The headline reads, "Superman to face oversight bill." "They're going to leash you," Butcher says, "and they'll use you to tighten the leash on everyone else." Superman scans the article. A new bill would register all supes under a federal agency. Vought lawyers helped write it. Homelander has already given public support. "If they control you," Butcher says, jabbing a finger at the page, "you're just another Vought dog with a nicer smile. If you say no, they call you a threat and send every gun, supe, and drone they have after you." "So your answer is what?" Superman asks. "Tear it all down? Leave the world in pieces?" Butcher shrugs. "Sometimes you have to smash a thing before you can build something better." Huey speaks up. "We can't fight everyone," he says. "We need people. We need the public. Right now, some of them still trust Superman. That's a chance we never had before." Starlight nods. If they see him stand up to Vought and the government, they might realize they don't need either of them to tell them what justice is. Maeve sits in the corner, watching. Or they watch him get crushed, she says, and they learn that nothing stronger than Vought survives. Superman feels the weight of all their eyes. He thinks of his rule: do the right thing, no matter the cost. In his world, that usually meant flying faster, lifting heavier, taking the hit. Here, it might mean choosing who gets hurt. Mallory lays out a map. Vought is planning something big, she says. Their marketing schedules, social media pushes, and leaked internal memos all point to a huge event in 2 weeks. Unity Day. Nationwide broadcasts. They want every eye on them. They'll use it to push the bill, Huey says. And to push you, Mallory says to Superman. Make you a symbol they own, or destroy you as an example if you say no. Either way, they win, unless we change the game. How? Superman asks. Mallory taps another file. We've got a lead, a weapon from the old days, a suit built before Vought perfected their image machine. He hates them more than we do, and he's dangerous enough to scare even Homelander. Starlight's face goes pale. Maeve's eyes narrow. You're talking about Soldier Boy, Maeve says. Superman frowns. I've heard that name on your news. Old war hero. Went missing. War criminal, Maeve corrects. Living nuke. Vought buried him when he stopped being useful. If he's alive, Mallory cuts in. We have evidence he is, and that Vought is trying to move him. Maybe to use him at Unity Day as a secret weapon. We find him first. We decide how he's used. Bringing another unstable soup into this war is madness, Starlight says. So is fighting Homelander and Vaught's toys without something that can hurt them, Butcher says, eyes bright. Soldier Boy can burn soups from the inside out. Imagine him meeting Homelander on live TV. Imagine him melting a city, Superman says. Silence falls. He looks at the map. Unity Day in 2 weeks. Vaught's growing control. The government's fear. The streets boiling. Homelander's jealousy. A buried weapon that could kill gods. He cannot save everything at once. I'll help find Soldier Boy, Superman says slowly. But we do not use him as a bomb in a crowd. We get control. We use his power only if there is no other way. Butcher smirks. And who decides that, mate? Superman meets his eyes. I do, if I'm the one standing there. The room splits on that choice. Huey, Starlight, and Mallory lean towards Superman's way. careful, strategic, trying to protect civilians. Butcher, Frenchie, and even Maeve lean toward using any weapon they can get. They all need each other, but they'd take different roads if they could. The search for Soldier Boy takes them out of the city. They follow leads from old CIA files, black market whispers, and vault cargo lists. A train loaded with odd shielded containers. A restricted forest zone tied to a clean energy project. A hidden bunker in a foreign ally's land. Superman flies point, scanning underground as they move in stolen trucks and small planes. Every time he uses his vision at full strength, his head throbs. Every time he pushes his hearing to reach across miles, his limbs feel heavier later. The sun in this world gives less back each day. One night they reach a remote vault site, a fake waste disposal facility in the woods, ringed with fences and guards. Heat signatures pulse under the ground. One steady, heavy and strangely slow, like a sleeping heart too big for its chest. There, Superman says, pointing. Deep bunker, heavy shields, something alive. Butcher grins. Let's wake Sleeping Beauty. They plan a hit. Superman will crack the outer defenses. Kimiko and Maeve take the close quarters fights. Frenchie runs the bombs for doors and shielded walls. Huey and Starlight manage comms and lights. Mallory watches from a distance with a sniper rifle, just in case. They move at night. Superman drops from the sky, hits the fence, and rips a path open. Bullets ping off him. He takes care to bend guns instead of breaking bones, but he moves fast. If he stops to reason with every guard, they'll never reach the bunker. Inside, alarms scream. Red lights spin. As they push deeper, hidden panels slide open and emit harsh red beams. The light burns his skin like ice and fire together. His knees sag. Breath comes short. Red light, he grunts. Vought has been busy. Starlight blasts one panel with her own light, overloading it. Frenchie throws a quick bomb at another. Sparks fly. The beams flicker and die. You okay? Huey asks. I will be, Superman says. He stands, but slower. They reach the bunker's inner door. It is thick steel, layered with Vaught's best toys. Frenchie whistles. She is a beast, he says. Superman plants his hands, pulls. His muscles burn like they are on fire. The red light in the hall behind still leaks through the cracks. He roars with effort and tears the door open. Inside, in a heavy pod, floats Soldier Boy. He looks half asleep, half dead, face lit by greenish fluid. Tubes run in and out. Machines hum. Found him, Butcher says softly. His voice has a hungry edge. They break the pod seals. Alarms rise to a scream. The fluid drains. Soldier Boy's eyes snap open. He coughs, gasps, and staggers out. Radiation rolls off him in waves. The hell is this? He growls, looking at the strangers. Superman steps forward. Your soldier, boy, he says. Vought lied to you, used you, locked you away. We broke you out. Soldier Boy blinks. You're not one of mine, he says, eyeing the cape. You're a new model. Something like that, Superman says. Right now, Vought is planning a big show, Unity Day. They'll put you up there like a trophy, or use you as a bomb and call it justice. We want to stop that. Soldier Boy laughs, a rough, broken sound. Vought wants to use me, he says. Again, cute. I'll show them use. His chest glows. A burst of green-white energy explodes out, frying nearby machines. The air shakes. Superman feels the blast wash over him. It does not melt him, but it digs into his cells, scraping at his stored energy. Kimiko staggers. Starlight shields her eyes. Careful, Superman says. There are people above us. You could kill them. Soldier Boy looks at him, amused. And Superman sees it in his eyes. A man broken by war, by lies, by decades in a tank. A man who thinks the world owes him pain. This is not a weapon you control. It's a storm you try to point. Still, they need him. Vought owns you, Butcher says, stepping in. They made you, used you, threw you away. You want payback? Help us hit them where it hurts most, on their big day, in front of everyone. Soldier Boy's jaw tightens. Homelander, he says. He's heard that name in half dreams. He's their new golden boy. Yeah, Butcher says. Think of him like your replacement. Rage flashes in Soldier Boy's eyes. Then I'll show him what being replaced feels like. Superman stands between Butcher and Soldier Boy. You help us stop Vought, he says. But we do not burn cities to do it. We aim you at the real monsters. Soldier Boy snorts. We'll see, Boy Scout. They escape as Vought backup closes in. Helicopters search the forest. Drones whine overhead. Superman carries Soldier Boy at first, but the older Soup's radiation makes his skin crawl. He can feel his own cells shiver under the blast waves. By dawn, they make it to a hidden rendezvous spot. Soldier Boy smokes on a log, looking at the rising sun like he wants to punch it. The world has gained a new bomb. Superman has gained a new limit. Power scaling interlude tardy. Grace Mallory Field notes. Superman is no longer at his peak. Cross-universe transit burned a chunk of his reserves. This sun refills him slowly. Vaught's red light tech triggers a forced drain that leaves him winded. Soldier Boy's radiation blasts don't kill him, but they scramble his cells and strip away energy. If he pushes past these limits, keeps fighting under red light, takes multiple blasts, or uses his full power too often, he risks permanent damage, loss of flight, reduced strength, or worse. In plain terms, he can still save the world, but not every piece of it, and not without a cost he won't get back. Up to now, Superman has forced the world to look at Vaught's crimes, stood in front of government power, and pulled a living nuke named Soldier Boy out of a grave. The threat has grown on every front. Now everyone moves toward Unity Day, whether they want to or not. Travel and preparation fill the days before the event. Vought builds stages in cities across the country. Giant screens go up. Red, white, and blue banners hang from every tower. Ads run non-stop. Unity Day, a new chapter in heroism. Homelander's face fills every screen, smiling. In some shots, Superman is shown beside him, even though he was never there. The edits are seamless lies. In a secret Vought lab under the main stadium for the national broadcast, engineers finish work on a huge red light grid. Panels line the roof. Projectors hide in the walls. A central control room holds a switch and a dial. Once the target is centered, the lead scientist says, we flood the arena with red spectrum. He'll be stuck. Weak. Easy to manage. Ashley stands by, forcing a proud smile. And if he doesn't show, she asks. Then we still have a great show, the scientist says. Homelander, guest soups, politicians. We pass the bill. We tighten control. But trust me, Superman will come. This is exactly the kind of thing he can't resist. In a hidden base far from the stadium, Superman's team makes their own plans. They gather around a digital map of the arena. Starlight, Maeve, Butcher, Huey, Frenchie, Kimiko, Mallory, and now Soldier Boy form a rough circle around him. It is a mixed team. Idealists, cynics, killers, and one man who is not sure which he is anymore. Our mission is simple in shape, complex in steps, Mallory says. Step 1, keep the crowd alive. Step 2, stop Vought from using Unity Day to lock down Soup rule. Step 3, neutralize Homelander's grip on this world. without letting Soldier Boy turn the place into glass. Frenchie points at the map. Red light grid here, here, and here, he says, tapping roof and wall points. We plant charges to fry their main circuits, or we cut the power from inside the control room. Huey gestures at the broadcast tower. We hook into their feed, he says. If we get proof of their trap, their deals, we push it live before they can cut it. Maeve leans back. I'll be on stage, she says. Vought will want the whole 7 there. I can trigger a distraction if needed, or I can get close to Homelander at the right time. Starlight nods. I'll be there too. I can overload their lights if I'm close enough. Might fry the red light grid from inside. Butcher looks at Soldier Boy. And you, Sunshine, are our trump card, he says. If Homelander goes full psycho, you blast him. Hard. We'll try to clear the civilians first. Soldier Boy smirks. You had me at blast him. Superman watches all of them. My job, he says, is to keep as many people alive as possible. That means catching falling debris, blocking stray blasts, and stopping either of you. He looks between Homelander in his mind and Soldier Boy in front of him, from turning this into a slaughter. Butcher rolls his eyes. You can't save everyone, mate. I know, Superman says, but I'll save everyone I can, and I will not choose a plan that treats a stadium of people as disposable. A quiet falls. Even Butcher does not have a quick answer to that. Later, on a quiet roof outside the base, Maeve joins Superman for a last smoke before the event. She offers him a cigarette. He shakes his head. You really going to walk into their trap? She asks. They're counting on me to stay away, or to act without thinking, he says. I'll do neither. I'll walk in with my eyes open, with all of you in place, and with a plan. And if their plan is better, she asks. He smiles a little. Then I'll improvise. I've had practice. She studies him. You're different from us, she says, from this world. We were made in labs or shoved into capes as kids. You chose this. That makes you dangerous in a way Vought doesn't understand. I chose to help, he says. I'll keep choosing that, even when it hurts. Maeve flicks ash off the edge of the roof. Let's hope the world deserves you, she says. Unity Day dawns. The stadium in New York gleams under the sun. Flags wave. People fill the seats, excited for a show. Families wear Homelander capes and Starlight crowns. Vendors sell Superman shirts. Vought rushed into production, even though they never got his permission. Cameras and drones float everywhere. The broadcast will go out to millions. Screens in other cities are already showing pre-show interviews. Politicians take their seats in a VIP box. Security is thick but smiling. Everything looks bright. Under the brightness, 3 different operations hum. Vaught's operation: lure Superman, trap him under red light, show him as either a loyal partner or a defeated threat, push the bill, lock in control. Homelander's private twist: humiliate or kill Superman on live TV and prove to everyone that he is the only god they need. The boys' operation: get into the stadium systems, sabotage the red light grid, expose Vaught's trap and deals on live TV, and be ready to unleash or stop Soldier Boy if Homelander goes too far. Superman's personal operation: save as many lives as possible, protect the crowd from both plans, and try to keep his own ethics intact in the middle of a storm built to break them. They enter in pieces. Starlight and Maeve walk in through the soupy entrance with the rest of the 7. Ashley greets them with fake warmth and real fear. Homelander strides ahead, soaking in the cheers as fans scream his name. Remember, he whispers to Starlight as they walk. Unity, smiles, you and me and our new friend. His smile flickers at the last word. In the cables and tunnels under the stadium, Frenchie and Kimiko move like ghosts, planting charges on key power lines and grid junctions. Huey, in a tech van outside, hacks into the stadium network with help from Mallory's people. Soldier Boy sits in a dark underlevel seat, in a cap and glasses, waiting. He grumbles every few minutes. Boring, he mutters. When do we blow something up? Butcher, beside him, grips a flask and a detonator. Patience, he says. We want the perfect shot. Superman arrives last. He floats down from the sky, landing outside the stadium, cape settling around him. People gasp and cheer, some boo. Security rushes forward, hands on weapons, then hesitates as he simply walks toward the main gate with his hands open. I came to talk, he says to the nearest guard. Not to fight. Let me in. The guard, trembling, gets an order through his earpiece and nods. You're expected, he says. Of course he is. Inside the stadium, the show begins. Explosions of color, fireworks, loud music. A highlight reel of the Seven's greatest hits plays on the big screens, showing polished rescues and careful edits that hide all the worst parts. Homelander takes center stage, waving, smiling, soaking in love like solar energy. Then Ashley announces, voice high and bright, and today, for the first time ever, a very special guest, the hero from another world, Superman. The crowd roars, some out of true joy, some out of fear, some because the noise feels safer than silence. Superman flies up from the entry tunnel, slow and steady, no tricks. He lands near Homelander. For a moment, the image is perfect. Two capes, two icons side by side. Cameras zoom in. Homelander's smile is wide. His eyes are not. Welcome to Unity Day, he says softly through clenched teeth. Let's give them a real show, Superman answers, just as soft. Up in the control room, the lead scientist watches the screens. Target located, he says. Center field. Begin red light warm-up. Panels in the roof switch on, but not yet visible to the crowd. The red spectrum starts to creep into the light. In the tunnels, Frenchie sees a small indicator on his handheld. Merd, he mutters. They're charging the grid early. Blow the first charges, Mallory orders over the comms. He hits a trigger. A section of roof power flickers. Some panels fail, others stay lit, stronger. Partial disruption, Huey reports from the van. They build backups. We can't kill it all from here. Keep going, Superman says quietly over a hidden earpiece under his suit. I'll stall. On the field, a senator begins to speak about a new era of responsible heroism. He points up at the soups on the stage, and leading us into that era, our own Homelander and our new friend, Superman. Superman steps up to the mic. People of this world, he begins. You've been told that you need gods in suits to keep you safe. You've been told a company can decide who lives, who dies, and what truth looks like. That is a lie. Ashley's smile freezes. In the booth, the director panics. Cut his mic, someone shouts. Huey hits a key. For a moment, the sound cuts. Then his hack takes over, routing Superman's voice out over the main feed, past Vort's controls. They told you I attacked a legal research facility, Superman says, voice echoing in the stadium and across millions of screens. They told you the children I carried out were part of some noble test. You've seen the footage. You know that's not true. On every TV, a split screen appears. Superman at the mic, and leaked clips from inside the lab. A kid crying. A doctor talking about market segments. A Vought email ordering a cover-up. The crowd gasps. In the VIP box, politicians shift in their seats. Some pale, some frown. Homelander's smile vanishes. He looks up. He sees the red panels flickering, not as steady as the tests. He hears the crowd turning. "Enough," he says, stepping forward. "You don't get to come here and spit on everything we've built." He shoves Superman away from the mic, harder than necessary. Superman stumbles, more than he should. The red light has grown stronger. His limbs feel heavy. He tastes metal. In the control room, the scientist pushes the dial. "Red light to full," he orders. Half the grid blows from Frenchie's earlier bombs, but the rest flares. The field floods with harsh, red-tinged rays invisible to normal eyes. To Superman, it feels like the sun has turned against him. He drops to one knee. The crowd murmurs. Homelander's eyes glow. "Look at this," he says, raising his voice. "This foreign god. He comes into our world, breaks our laws, attacks our people, and now he tries to put on a little show and turn you against the heroes who have kept you safe." He grabs Superman by the throat and lifts him a little off the ground. Under the red light, Superman's arms feel like stone. He can breathe, but barely. "Today is Unity Day," Homelander says. "And unity means we stand with heroes we know, heroes we trust, not invaders." People start to shout. Some cheer Homelander. Others cry out for Superman. The stadium shakes with the split. Under the stands, Butcher watches the scene on a small screen. His hand tightens on the detonator for the last set of charges. Soldier Boy stands, chest starting to glow. "Time to join the party," Soldier Boy says. Butcher grins grimly. "Let's crash it then." He hits the trigger. A row of explosions ripples through the stadium's outer ring, not enough to bring it down, but enough to shake the structure and knock out more of the red light units. Concrete cracks. Lights flicker. People scream. Soldier Boy strides out onto a lower concourse, looking up at the stage. His chest glows brighter. "Hey, Homelander," he roars. His voice booms. Homelander's head snaps toward the sound. His grip on Superman loosens. On the big screens, cameras swing to catch the new arrival. A forgotten star. A ghost with a glowing chest and murder in his eyes. "Guess who's back, kid?" Soldier Boy says. The Convergence event has begun. Homelander, Superman, Soldier Boy, Vaught's trap, the government's fear, the public's rage, and the boys' sabotage all colliding in one place that is already starting to fall apart. And the process cannot be turned off. Up to now, Superman has torn open Vaught's lies, pushed the government to look at Supes, freed Soldier Boy from a grave, and walked straight into Unity Day knowing it is a trap. Now everything hits at once. The stadium shakes as Butcher's charges go off. Dust falls from the rafters. People scream. On the giant screens, cameras whip around to catch Soldier Boy on the concourse, chest glowing like a small sun. On the field, Homelander still has one hand on Superman's throat. Under the half-working red light grid, Superman's muscles twitch and burn. His boots scrape across the stage. He cannot reach full strength. "Dad!" someone in the stands shouts. Not at Superman, but at Homelander, pointing towards Soldier Boy. The word ripples. Homelander hears it. His eyes lock on Soldier Boy. For a moment, all sound seems to thin around him. Years of Vought lies, half hints and hidden files crash into one cold truth he has always felt, but never wanted. He is not the first. He is not the top. He is someone else's replacement. Soldier Boy grins, mean and tired. "Hey kid," he calls. "Daddy's home." The crowd gasps. Ashley goes white in the control booth. "Cut that audio," she shrieks. Huey's hack keeps it live. Homelander's face twists. The mask cracks. "No," he says, more to himself than anyone. You're dead. You're a myth. Vought lied to you too, Soldier Boy says. Like they lied to me. Like they lie to all of them. He jerks his head at the crowd. We're not heroes. We're products. Weapons. His chest glows brighter. The energy builds. Superman feels the wave forming, even from across the field. His cells react early, flinching. He can tell this blast will roll across the whole stadium. It will strip powers. It will burn flesh. It will kill children in the cheap seats. On the earpiece, Mallory's voice is tight. If he fires, this stadium becomes a mass grave. Butcher's voice cuts over hers. He fires. Homelander dies, he says. One blast. One monster gone. Worth it. Superman staggers free of Homelander's grip for a second as the other man's attention splits. The red light presses down like an invisible hand. His legs shake. He looks up into the seats. He sees a boy in a homemade Superman shirt clutching his mother. He sees a man in a Homelander cape holding his daughter. He sees fear on both faces. No one up there deserves to die for a show. His choice is clear and cruel. Let Soldier Boy fire and kill thousands to maybe erase one tyrant, or stop the blast and save Homelander's life along with everyone else's. Butcher whispers in his ear, almost begging and cursing at once. Don't do it, mate. Don't you dare throw this away. We'll never get a chance like this again. Superman closes his eyes for half a heartbeat. He thinks of his parents on the farm, of Lois, of all the times he chose not to let people die, even when someone told him it was necessary. His rule was not made for easy days. It was made for this. He opens his eyes. I won't let a stadium burn, he says. He launches upward, dragging Homelander with him. It feels like flying through mud. The red light drags on his bones. His body screams. Still, he pushes. Hey, Homelander yells, twisting in his grip. What are you? Superman doesn't answer. He shoves them both higher, away from the field, toward the point where Soldier Boy's chest is aimed. Soldier Boy sees them rising. His eyes narrow. Fine, he says. You want in the blast, Boy Scout? Be my guest. He unleashes it. The world turns white-green. The blast slams into Superman and Homelander like a wall. The shockwave spreads in all directions. Red light panels shatter. Glass explodes. The upper tiers of the stadium tilt and groan. Superman shoves Homelander's body sideways, blocking as much of the wave from the stands as he can. He feels the energy rip through him, clawing at his cells, tearing at the stored sunlight he has carried since he first flew. He screams, but he keeps his body between the blast and the crowd. His cape burns. His skin glows with sick light. Inside him, something deep and fragile breaks. Down below, Starlight throws up her hands, channeling the flood of stadium lights into a counterflash that meets the edge of the wave and blunts it. The air fills with sparks. Maeve grabs a falling support beam and holds it up long enough for people to run. In the seats, people are thrown back, but most do not burn. Ears ring. Some faint. Some bleed from small cuts. But the mass death that could have happened does not. Homelander howls as the blast strips some of his power away. His skin reddens. His hair singes. His eyes flicker. It is not full loss, but it is pain he has never felt. Superman's flight fails. His power drains like water from a cracked tank. Gravity grabs him. He drops, still wrapped around Homelander. They crash onto the stage hard enough to crack it. Silence falls for a moment. Just the creak of metal, the groan of concrete, the whimper of scared children. Then the crowd starts to scream again. The convergence event is in full motion. The trap is broken. The bomb has gone off. But the main players are still alive on the same stage. Superman tries to stand. His limbs feel heavy. Not in the way they did under red light, but deeper, like the strength has been scooped out. He can still move, but he feels human, mostly. Homelander rolls onto his side, gasping. He looks at his hands, at his arms, at the small burns that mar his perfect skin. Rage boils up like acid. "You did this," he spits at Superman. "You brought him here. You ruined my day." "Soldier Boy was Vort's sin before I ever landed," Superman says, chest heaving. "I just refused to let them bury it." Homelander staggers to his feet. He stares up at the damaged roof, the panicking crowd, the cameras still broadcasting every shake of his hands. His smile is gone. All that's left is raw, ugly fear and pride. "They're watching," he says. "They need to see strength." He grabs Superman by the front of his suit and hauls him up. The effort costs him now. His arms tremble. The blast has cut his edge, but he forces it. "Look," he screams at the stands. "Look at your so-called savior. He's weak. He can't even stand without me. He's nothing without this world's sun, without your cameras. I'm the one who keeps you safe. Me." His eyes glow as he tries to fire his heat vision down right into Superman's face. The beams come, but they are thinner, weaker. Superman turns his head and takes them on his shoulder. The skin burns, but does not melt through. He grabs Homelander's wrists and pushes them aside. For the first time, Homelander feels someone hold him back, not with impossible godlike ease, but with firm, stubborn resistance that he cannot simply break. "Stop," Superman says. "Look around. You're hurting the people you say you protect." Homelander laughs, wild. "They don't care," he says. "They'll forgive anything. They always do. Watch." He hurls Superman across the stage toward the edge. Superman rolls, hits a fallen lighting rig, and stops. The impact rattles him, but he gets up on one knee. In the stands, some people do cheer Homelander's strength, but others do not. Others remember the blast. Others saw him clutch Superman's throat while he tried to speak. Others see the cracks in his smile now and the pure hate in his eyes. A child cries, "Stop," too loud for the mics to miss. Up in the VIP box, politicians stand, unsure whether to flee or pretend this is still a show. Mallory, in a staff disguise, speaks quickly into a mic. "Keep the cameras rolling," she tells Huey. "The world needs to see this." On the concourse, Soldier Boy shakes off the recoil of his blast. He looks up at the stage. "Huh," he says. "They're still standing." Butcher, beside him, shoulders a rifle loaded with V-laced rounds. "Then we help gravity," he says. He lines up a shot at Homelander. On stage, Homelander strides towards Superman for the finishing blow, eyes blazing again. Superman pushes himself up. Every muscle trembles. He feels like he did when he first tried to lift a tractor as a boy before he knew how strong he would be. There is no extra reserve now, no secret well to tap. He has to fight like a man, not a god. Homelander raises a fist. "Any last words, alien?" Superman looks past him, at the cameras, at the crowd. "People of this world," he says, voice hoarse but clear. "You don't need me. You don't need him. You need each other. You need laws that don't bow to capes. You need to stop letting your fear be sold back to you as safety." Homelander snarls and swings. Superman slips to the side. The punch clips his jaw, hard. Pain flashes, but he has been in fights his whole life. He knows technique. Homelander knows mostly dominance. Superman counters with a solid body blow to Homelander's ribs. It does not send him flying. It just knocks the breath out of him. Homelander doubles over, shocked that anyone can do that to him now. Around the stadium, Sup supporters and Superman supporters stop shouting long enough to stare. The image of Homelander bent over in pain will burn into a million screens later. Butcher's finger tightens on the trigger. He sees Homelander's back, a clean shot. He sees the crowd behind him. One missed bullet, one twitch, and a kid dies instead. He sees Superman standing, bruised, choosing not to land a killing blow. "Come on," he mutters. "Just a little to the left." Kimiko touches his arm. She shakes her head once. Her eyes say it plainly, "Not like this." He swears quietly and lowers the rifle. On the field, Homelander staggers back, then launches himself at Superman, trying to tackle him. They slam into each other. It is not a clash of gods anymore. It is a messy, human fight between two very strong men in suits. Superman wrestles Homelander down, using leverage, not raw force. He pins his arm behind his back, drives his other shoulder into the stage. The boards crack. "Let go," Homelander gasps. You can't do this to me. They love me." Superman presses his forearm gently but firmly against Homelander's neck. Not enough to crush, just enough to hold. He looks up, finds the nearest camera, and speaks to it. "You saw him try to kill me when I spoke the truth," he says. "You saw him cheer a trap built to torture me. You saw him stand on a stage built on lies. Don't let anyone tell you later that you didn't." In homes across the country, people stare. Some clutch their chests. Some shake their heads. Some start to cry and don't know why. Ashley shouts in the control room, "Cut the feed." Huey's hack holds. In the VIP box, one senator finally moves. She grabs a mic from a shaky aide. "For the record," she says, voice steadying as she speaks, "this event was supposed to show unity under regulated soups. Instead, it has shown that no corporation and no single soup can be trusted with this level of power." Her words are not as dramatic as a punch, but they hit deep. On the field, Starlight and Maeve run to the stage. Starlight glows, ready to blast any remaining red light units. Maeve stands beside Superman, shoulders squared. "This ends now," she says. She looks at Homelander, pinned and panting. "You've hurt enough people." Homelander looks at them, at the crowd, at the cameras. He sees something he has never seen before. Eyes that do not immediately forgive him. Eyes that judge. He screams a raw sound and blasts one last desperate burst of heat vision at the sky. It is weak and wild. It hits nothing. Superman lets him go. Not because he is afraid, because he knows what comes next is not his job. Authorities, some loyal to Vought, some not, pour onto the field. Some point guns at Homelander. Some, out of habit or fear, still move to protect him. The moment wobbles on a knife edge, then a roar rises from the stands. Not for Homelander, for themselves, for the truth. "No more lies," someone starts, and the chant catches. "No more lies, no more lies." The sound is too big to spin away later. Homelander looks around and for the first time feels not adoration, but something closer to verdict. His hands shake. Flight still works, but he does not know where to go that will feel safe. He shoots into the sky, leaving a ragged trail. He flees, not as a hero making a grand exit, but as a cornered animal. Cameras track him until he is a dot, then gone. The crisis on the field starts to settle into something new. Soldier Boy tries to charge another blast from the concourse. His chest glows weakly. The earlier shot and the distance have taken a lot out of him. He raises his arms anyway, ready to torch the stage and everyone on it. Maeve sees him. So does Starlight. "Starlight now," Maeve shouts. Starlight pulls power from every working light left in the stadium and throws a focused beam right into Soldier Boy's chest. For a second, His own energy collides with hers. Then his power sputters, overloaded. Maeve tackles him from the side. They crash into a wall. For a few seconds, Soldier Boy fights like a wild animal. Then Kimiko joins in, silent and lethal, driving a syringe of heavy sedative into his neck. Mallory's backup plan if things went wrong. Soldier Boy snarls, then slumps. His glow fades. The biggest bombs in the stadium are now neutralized or gone. The convergence event ends not with one giant explosion, but with a few key choices. A blast redirected, a shot not taken, a god run off the field, and a bomb put back to sleep. The days after Unity Day are a blur of sirens, hearings, and rewrites. Superman spends most of the first 48 hours in a reinforced medical bay under a government building, not because they can treat him better than he can heal, but because everyone wants to look at him. Doctors scan him. Scientists run tests. Some want to know how he works. Some want to know how broken he is. He feels different. He can still see farther than most. He can still hear whispers down the hall. He is still strong. But when he tries to float off the bed, his body refuses. He lands back with a soft thud. Flying is gone for now, maybe forever. His heat vision stutters when he tries it on a metal plate. His breath no longer freezes anything. He is not powerless. He is just limited, mortal enough to feel it. A doctor confirms what he already knows. The radiation from that blast changed your cells, she says. You're still storing energy, but at a much lower capacity. Bulk powers, like flight and high-speed regeneration, are unlikely to return. You're extremely fit now, maybe stronger than any normal person, but you're not a god. Superman nods. Good, he says. Maybe this world has had enough gods. Later, Mallory visits. She sits by his bed, file in hand. Government's in chaos, she says. Vought is hemorrhaging money. Their red light trap and Soldier Boy's escape are public. They can't spin Unity Day as a win. The oversight bill is being torn apart and rebuilt from the ground up, this time without their lawyers writing the script. And Homelander, he asks. Gone, Mallory says. Off the grid, some satellite hits, but he's moving, staying away from cameras. For once, he doesn't want to be seen. That makes him more dangerous in some ways, but less powerful in others. Superman looks at the wall. He'll be back. Yes, Mallory says. But now people have seen him as he really is. That's a weapon you gave us, as much as any punch. What about Soldier Boy? Deep freeze, Mallory says. Different facility this time. Fewer Vought logos. She gives a thin smile. We learned from last time. He nods. And the kids we saved. Her face softens. Many are in care homes now, she says, under protection. Some will live full lives, some won't, but they'll have a chance that Vought was ready to take away. They talk about you. He swallows. I'd like to see them when I can stand longer than 10 minutes. You will, she says. On her way out, she pauses. You could have let Soldier Boy kill Homelander, she says. You'd have saved lives in the long run. Maybe, Superman says. Or maybe we just proved that as long as the right person dies, any number of wrong people can die with them. I won't live in that math. Mallory studies him. You make my job harder, she says. But maybe you make this world better. Try not to die. I'm trying, he says. Butcher visits next. He stands at the foot of the bed, hands in his pockets, staring like Superman is a museum piece he wants to break. You saved him, Butcher says. No hello. After everything, after the lab, the lies, the murder, you saved that cape. I saved a stadium full of people, Superman says. Homelander was a side effect. Butcher snorts. You and your lines. They stare at each other. You know he'll kill again, Butcher says. You know that, right? You know that by saving him, you put a lot of other poor bastards on the chopping block down the line. Superman's jaw tightens. Maybe, he says. But I gave this world a clearer look at what he is. I trust people more than you do, Butcher. If they still choose him after that, then that's their crime to heal, not mine to fix by murder. Butcher steps closer. You really believe they'll choose right? I believe, Superman says slowly, that if no one ever shows them another way, they never will. I'm not here to replace their choices. I'm here to make sure they still get to make them. Butcher laughs, but there's no joy in it. You're insane, he says, and annoyingly hard to hate. He turns to go, stops, looks back. For what it's worth, he says, you did save a lot of people. Even the supes I hate admit that. Superman smiles faintly. Coming from you, that almost sounds like a compliment. Don't get used to it, Butcher says, and leaves. Weeks pass. The world does not heal overnight, but lines move. The oversight bill comes back with teeth. Supes are no longer managed by one corporation's PR machine. An independent agency with public oversight and whistleblower protections takes over licensing. Vought is charged with multiple crimes: illegal human testing, conspiracy to defraud, unlawful use of force. Its stock collapses. Pieces of it are sold off. Some executives go to prison. Others slither away into consulting. Ashley survives by throwing everyone else under the bus in hearings, crying on cue, and claiming she never knew. In private, she shakes every time she sees a cape. Starlight quits the Seven publicly again, this time with more people on her side. She joins grassroots movements pushing for super accountability and better protections for victims. Her light powers now show up more on protest stages than on movie sets. Maeve disappears from the spotlight, rumored to be dead, then rumored to be living quietly under another name. In truth, she splits her time between a quiet life and occasional visits to Superman, where they sit on rooftops and talk about the strange weight of surviving. Soldier Boy stays in a black site. Sometimes, late at night, techs hear him mutter about kids these days and Vought. He's a dormant threat, not a closed book. Homelander becomes a ghost story. He pops up in shaky phone clips, a blur in a distant sky, a shadow on a mountain, a rumor over a barren field. Some say he is weaker now. Some say he is training harder than ever. He watches Superman on screens from dark rooms and grinds his teeth down. And Superman? He moves into a quiet part of the city, near one of the hospitals where the rescued kids get care. He rents an old apartment under a different name that fools no one. People still recognize him. He cannot fly, but he can still leap onto rooftops with effort. He cannot see to the end of the world, but he can see enough to pull a child out of a burning car or stop a mugger. He volunteers at clinics, carries heavy boxes for food banks, and helps rebuild broken neighborhoods with his bare hands. Some people treat him like a saint. He gently tells them not to. I'm just someone doing what he can, he says. So are you. Some still fear him. Whisper about what happens if he gets his full powers back. He does not argue. He just keeps showing up when it counts, over and over, until the fear slowly turns into something complicated and human. He keeps an eye on the sky, not because he expects to see his own universe again. The gate device is dead. The energy cost of crossing once has broken his path home. He accepts that. Now, when he looks up, he listens for a different kind of cry, the kind that says this world still needs him. One afternoon, he visits the kids from the lab. They run to him, some with crutches, some without, some with faint blue scars on their arms. A girl with short hair and bright eyes holds up a drawing. It shows a caped figure standing in front of a huge wave of green light, arms out, shielding tiny stick people behind him. "That's you," she says, "on Unity Day." He kneels, so his eyes are level with hers. "I had help," he says. "Lots of help." "Yeah," she says, "but you were first." He takes the drawing, careful as if it is glass. His eyes sting. "Thank you," he says. Outside the clinic, Huey waits with Starlight. "World's still a mess," Huey says as Superman walks up. "It always will be," Superman says. "But now more people know where the mess comes from. And where help can come from too," Starlight adds. He shrugs. "Help can come from anywhere," he says. "I'm just one piece." They walk down the street together, 3 figures in casual clothes. No capes, no cameras, just people moving through a city that is learning to see itself without Vort's filter. Far away, on a farm in another universe, a windmill turns. A dog barks at the sky for no reason. Somewhere deep in Superman's chest, a small ache flares, then softens. Home is not one place anymore. It is whatever ground he decides to stand on and protect. In a small apartment that night, he sits at a second-hand desk and writes in a journal. Not a report, not a speech, just lines to remind himself why he does what he does in a world that will always tempt him to choose easy anger over hard mercy. He writes one sentence 3 times before he is satisfied with how it feels. Power is not about who kneels, it's about who stands back up to help. He closes the book, turns off the light, and sleeps like a man who knows tomorrow will be hard and gets up anyway. Months later, a new statue stands in a small square, not in front of Vought Tower, but in a public park. It does not show Superman flying. It shows him standing on the ground, arms out, cape wrapped around a cluster of people who look scared but determined. There is no company logo on the base, just words carved by a local artist. For those who chose to protect, not perform. Sometimes people leave flowers. Sometimes they leave copies of legal bills, court verdicts, or news clippings about soup crimes finally punished. One day, Butcher passes by it, coat collar up, hands in his pockets. He snorts at the statue. "Bloody cape," he mutters. But he does not spit on it. He nods once, almost against his will, and walks on. In a hidden bunker, Homelander watches a broadcast of a town hall where Superman speaks quietly with citizens about new super rules. No lights, no fanfare, just small, slow work. Homelander's jaw tightens. "It's not over," he whispers. "You didn't beat me. You just changed the field." He stares at his own reflection in the black screen after it clicks off. For the first time, the reflection looks smaller to him. The world waits. It does not know if Homelander will come back as a disaster or fade into rumor. It does not know if Soldier Boy will stay buried. It does not know if Vort's pieces will grow new heads in the dark. But it knows something new. Gods can be questioned, companies can fall, and even the strongest can choose not to kill. On a rooftop that night, Superman stands under the stars of this world, which are almost but not quite like the ones he grew up under. He listens to the city's heartbeat, messy, alive, afraid, hopeful. He has no portal home. He has no promise of getting his full power back. What he has is a clear choice, the same one every day. Stay, help, and keep trying to bend this brutal world towards something kinder. He smiles, tired but real, and steps off the edge. He cannot fly. He lands in an alley a few floors down with a soft impact, knees bending to take the drop. Somewhere nearby, someone yells for help. He runs toward the sound without hesitation. Final Codex note: in the years that follow Unity Day, official files list Superman as an extraterrestrial consultant under special oversight, but street stories remember him simply as the first Sup who chose to stand with the people against the system, even after the sky stopped carrying him.